In the village, Ifeanyi was known as Odogun, the respected big man. People hailed him, women admired him, men envied him, but only Chika knew the truth. Odogun na only for mouth. When Ifeanyi returned from the city, he didn't come back like a normal villager. He came back like a project. Fresh haircut, imported perfume, shiny shoes, borrowed suit, rented car, everything on him was packaging. He didn't come home because he missed the village. He didn't come for rest. He came back for one mission: to rebuild his broken life using someone else's money. He was broke, totally finished in the city. No business, no job, no house, nothing. But Ifeanyi had one gift. He could lie with confidence and people would believe him. He arrived 2 days before his friend's wedding, so the village would talk about him first. And they did. Have you seen Ifeanyi? He has become a big man now. City life fit time. He's smelling money. Exactly what he wanted. On the wedding day, he executed the main plan. He moved like a celebrity. He talked loudly about deals. He laughed like someone whose account was full. He shook hands like a politician. He spoke English anyhow. Then he saw her. Chika. The woman the whole village respected, owner of the biggest provision store, supplier to other shop owners, independent, calm, focused, comfortable, not noisy rich, real rich. Immediately he saw her, his plan found a target. He didn't rush, he studied. He asked questions quietly. Who is that? That's Chika. What does she do? She owns that big supermarket. She has money, oh. She doesn't beg any man. Perfect. He smiled. This was the type of woman he needed, the kind that could finance his life and protect his pride. From that day, he began his silent research. He found out everything: her business strength, her family background, her influence, her soft heart. Then he got to work. He approached her calmly. He didn't beg. He didn't act desperate. He acted like a successful city man who chose to notice her. He spoke with confidence. He introduced himself like a king. He sold dreams smoothly. I deal in importation. I have containers coming from overseas. Business has been good. Money people owe me is even tiring. I just came home to rest small. Every sentence was a lie. But he was professional. No shaking, no doubt, no guilt. And Chika, she believed. Not because she was foolish, because the packaging made sense. He dressed like success. He spoke like success. He acted like success. And in Africa, confidence is richer than bank account. They started talking. Feelings entered. He showered her with attention. He showed care. He showed gentleness. He didn't rush money talk. He only showed capability. And slowly, she fell in love. Before long, marriage talk entered. People celebrated her luck. You are blessed. You caught a big fish. This is a real man. Wedding happened. A big one. Crowd, music, food everywhere. The village hailed him. Odogun, big man, man of timber and caliber. Only God and Ifeanyi knew the truth. He was empty. But he had gotten what he wanted. A rich wife, soft life guaranteed, respect secured. He entered the marriage proudly, ready to enjoy the life he didn't sweat for. And Chika, she smiled happily beside him, not knowing she just married a well-packaged liability, because Ifeanyi was not Odogun in reality. He was only Odogun for mouth. Marriage didn't expose Ifeanyi immediately. For the first few months, everything looked perfect. He dressed well, he acted confident, he spoke big grammar, he moved like a lion, and the village continued to worship his image. He was that man everyone respected. If he passed, people greeted with honor. Good afternoon, Odogun, boss, chief. He would smile proudly, as if he truly earned it. Meanwhile, inside the house, Chika continued believing she was married to a successful man. He maintained the lie professionally. Whenever bills came up, whenever expenses showed up, whenever responsibility appeared, he would always say the same thing. Don't worry, my money is coming soon. Then he would sprinkle city lies. My container is still on the sea. Dollar rate is delaying me. Government policy is affecting my shipment. Clients haven't finished paying me. My account is having bank issues. All lies, but packaged well. Chika trusted her husband. She respected him deeply. She believed him completely. So each time money was needed, she would quietly bring it out. Not because he demanded, because she didn't want her husband to look weak. Rent, she handled. Car maintenance, she covered. Family responsibilities, she sponsored. Every time she would tell herself, I can't allow shame enter my home. My husband must remain respected. Little by little, she wasn't just supporting him, she was funding him. And Ifeanyi loved it. He loved how she hid his weakness. He loved how people still saw him as king. He loved how Chika never exposed him to her family. He loved how her wealth made him look powerful. To the world, he was Odogun. To Chika, she was my hard-working husband just waiting for breakthrough. To himself, he was a smart man enjoying jackpot because he chose her on purpose. He targeted her and his plan was working smoothly. But there was another pair of eyes watching. Amara, Chika's closest friend. She didn't know the truth. Nobody did. All she saw was a successful husband, a beautiful home, a woman enjoying sweet marriage, a respected man everyone bowed to. And envy began to whisper inside her. Your friend is fortunate. Her husband is powerful. If only you had a man like this. With every visit, her chest tightened a little more. Her mind kept asking, how did Chika find this type of man? How come everything is just perfect for her? Why can't life favor me like this? The more she saw Ifeanyi talk confidently, the more she wanted him, not as admiration anymore, as desire. Because envy never remains silent. It always tries to upgrade to action. But for now, life continued smoothly. Chika was still the silent bank, Ifeanyi was still the respected king, the village still worshipped his success, and Amara was still burning quietly inside. Everything looked stable, but this was just the calm part of the storm. Amara didn't wake up one day and decide to destroy her friend's marriage. It started slowly. The more she visited Chika's house, the more she watched Ifeanyi, the confident smile, the big man attitude, the way villagers respected him, the more envy matured into desire. She convinced herself she wasn't jealous. She was just appreciating a good man. But deep down, she wanted what Chika had. Not a husband. This husband. One afternoon, the door to destruction quietly opened. Chika traveled to Onitsha to restock her supermarket. Ifeanyi was at home. Amara just passed by. At least, that's what she told herself. She knocked gently. He opened the door. She smiled. Good afternoon, Odogu. He smiled proudly. He never got tired of that title. She carried food along as a caring friend. They talked. She praised him. She called him strong man. She said Chika was lucky. She told him men like him were rare. That was the moment the gate opened. Because lazy men love sweet words. Useless men love ego massage. And Ifeanyi, he fed on praise like food. From that day, Amara made herself available. She never attacked Chika directly. She didn't insult. She didn't act like enemy. She acted like friend of the house, visiting often, bringing food, checking up, asking, hope you're fine, calling him sir with respect. Slowly, she positioned herself closer. Then she started the real plan, soft poisoning of the man's mind. One day, when Chika scolded Ifeanyi gently about something reasonable, Amara tended to comfort him. She whispered, some women don't know the greatness of the husbands they have. You are a big man, but Chika behaves like you are ordinary. That sentence entered his chest. Another day she said, if you were my husband, I would never stress you like this. I treat you like the king you are. By the third time, he believed her. Because men who live on ego prefer lies that sweeten them to truth that corrects them. Slowly, he started comparing. He started feeling unappreciated at home. He started enjoying Amara's presence. He started looking forward to her visits. He started seeing her as the woman who truly understands him. Meanwhile, Chika knew nothing. She trusted Amara. She welcomed her freely. She laughed with her. She even thanked her for checking on them. She didn't know she was welcoming a snake inside her house. Then the boundary finally broke. One evening, they were alone again. Conversation became soft. Compliment became deeper. Laughter became different. Eyes started sending messages. Restraint died. Lines were crossed. The secret affair began. From that moment, Amara stopped envying Chika because in her mind,
she had already started replacing her. Ifeanyi didn't resist. Why would he? He was enjoying double attention. One woman funding him, another worshipping him. He felt like a king. He started spending more time with Amara. He started listening to her more than his wife. He started creating distance at home. He started behaving like a man captured with love. Amara intensified her plans. Now she wanted full possession. Not part-time, not side piece. She wanted the man completely. She convinced herself she deserved him. She convinced herself she could be a better wife. She convinced herself she was smarter than Chika. Little did she know, she was chasing problem packaged as glory. What started as quiet admiration became secret visits, then became a full-blown mission. Amara was no longer satisfied being the other woman. She wanted full ownership. She told herself, this man deserves a better woman. That better woman is me. I will love him more than Chika does. Envy had officially turned into greed, and greed always needs a target. The plan didn't happen in one day. It was slow poisoning. She continued feeding his ego. Chika doesn't value you enough. You deserve a woman that treats you like king. You shouldn't be living in someone else's shadow. You are too big to be controlled. Every word pushed him further away from his wife and closer to her. Ifeanyi swallowed everything. Because a lazy man always believes people who praise him more than people who correct him. Soon, tension entered the marriage. He started arguing with Chika over small things. He became irritated easily. He stopped talking at home. He started sleeping out. He stopped showing affection. He started acting like a man trapped in the wrong marriage. Chika sensed the distance. She felt something was wrong, but she didn't suspect Amara. Amara was still smiling with her, still hugging her, still pretending to care. Meanwhile, she was pushing Ifeanyi to make a final decision. One night, Amara finally said the line she had been preparing. I don't want to sin against God again. This thing we are doing is wrong. Either you leave Chika or you leave me. That was it. The ultimatum. The trap. And Ifeanyi, blinded by praise, ego and stupidity, took the bait. A few weeks later, he made the announcement. Cold, heartless, cowardly. Chika, this marriage is not working again. I am not happy. I want out. The words landed like thunder. Shock, confusion, pain. She stared at him like she was hearing noise from another world. What did you see? He repeated it louder this time, more confident, more foolish. I am leaving this marriage. Just like that. No remorse, no apology, no explanation that made sense. He walked out proudly like a king who made a bold decision. He left his home, he left his wife, he left the woman who carried him financially. He left the person who covered his shame for Amara. When the news spread, the village erupted. This is unbelievable. He left his wife for who? Her best friend? Some laughed, some shouted, some shook their heads. But the greatest shock wasn't that he left. It was that Chika did not fight. She didn't chase him. She didn't beg. She didn't drag. She didn't cry in public. She simply said one sentence. If this is what you want, go. Calm voice. No drama. No breakdown. People expected tears. She gave silence. People expected anger. She gave stillness. But silence is loud and stillness is power. Amara celebrated. She felt victorious. She believed she had won. She believed she had collected the jackpot. People clapped for her stupidity. She has snatched a rich husband. She is lucky. Her life has changed. She moved boldly with him, held him proudly, smiled confidently. She finally got what she wanted. Or so she thought. Because while she was celebrating victory, she didn't know she had just imported liability. She didn't know there was no money. She didn't know the big man lifestyle was sponsored. She didn't know the Odogu title was mouth and packaging only. She thought she had stolen treasure, but she had only stolen responsibility, ego, and empty pockets. And reality doesn't rush. It waits quietly until the day truth walks in and sits comfortably in front of you. That day was coming. Amara had successfully taken the man. Now she would meet the real version of him. No packaging, no borrowed respect, no wife covering shame. Just pure raw truth. And truth was not beautiful because Ifeanyi was never Odogu. He was only Odogu for mouth. And she was about to discover it the hard way.
Marriage is not gossip. Marriage is not packaging.
Marriage is not side chick visitation. Marriage is responsibility. And responsibility does not fear grammar. It started small. Food, no money. He looked at her. Babe, things are rough now. Just manage. Money is coming. My container is almost clearing. She laughed softly and paid. Then rent. Same story. She paid. Then electricity. She paid. Then minor household issues. She paid. She told herself, it's normal. We are partners. My man is a big man. His money will soon drop. She kept believing. For now. Weeks went by. Money never dropped. The container never arrived. The people owing him money never paid. Deals remained almost. Everything remained story. One evening, Amara finally asked gently, when exactly will this your big money come? He smiled confidently as usual. Relax. These things take time. Business is not beans. Confidence still there. Reality zero. Another month passed. Things got tighter. She started seeing something she didn't notice before. He didn't like work. He didn't apply for jobs. He didn't hustle. He didn't plan. He didn't try. All he did was talk big, sleep, dress fine, expect comfort. She looked closely. For the first time, she saw through the perfume and packaging. He wasn't unlucky. He was lazy. He wasn't struggling businessman. He was professional liability. Then the worst realization finally entered her brain. Chika was not enjoying before. She was funding this man. She wasn't lucky. She was carrying load. That was when fear started. Real fear. Because truth hits harder when it comes late. Suddenly, Amara stopped seeing a king. She started seeing a full-grown dependent. And dependents don't change. They just migrate. He had migrated from Chika to her. Now she was banker, wife, sponsor, house provider, bill settler, ego maintainer. Exactly what Chika carried silently, except Chika had money to sustain it. Amara didn't. Stress entered. Arguments started. Respect disappeared. She would ask, what is the plan? What are you doing about life? He would reply with anger, stop stressing me. Do you think success happens in one day? Do you know who I am? Yes, now she knew. She knew exactly who he was. A man who loves ego more than reality. A man who loves respect more than responsibility. A man who loves big talk more than work. Odogun, but only for mouth. Slowly, people around them began to notice changes. No more show-off, no more loud movement, no more packaged ego. Because packaging dies when there is no sponsor. Amara started avoiding people. Shame quietly moved into her life. The same people that praised her before now laughed silently. The same women that envied her now pitied her secretly. One afternoon, she sat alone thinking, and the bitter truth landed fully. She didn't snatch a husband. She snatched burden. She didn't win. She trapped herself. She wasn't clever. She was foolish. It wasn't Chika she defeated. It was herself. And this was only the beginning, because responsibility had only started knocking. More bills were coming, more reality was approaching, more disgrace was waiting. And the Odogun she chose proudly was about to disgrace her completely. Because when truth finally starts speaking, packaging dies. And Ifeanyi's truth was finally waking up. Reality doesn't rush. It waits. Then one day, it arrives and refuses to leave. That was how life visited Amara. By now, bills had piled up. Food was a struggle, rent landlord was already threatening, electricity disconnected, embarrassment gradually settling. And Ifeanyi, still talking, still forming, still confident in uselessness. One evening, landlord finally came in person. No greetings, no smile, no jokes. Pay my money today. Amara's heart shook. She looked at Ifeanyi. He cleared throat. Sir, calm down. I have business. Landlord caught him immediately. No business, no grammar. Pay or get out. Silence filled the house. Landlord stood there. Odogun stood useless. Amara stood confused. Finally, landlord gave final notice. Tomorrow morning, if I don't see my money, both of you leave. And he walked away. That night, there was no sleep in that house. For the first time since this journey started, Amara didn't even cry. She just sat quietly, staring into space. because sometimes tears finish. She finally spoke. "Where is the money?" Ifeanyi inhaled deeply. Then the most useless word came out. "Don't worry, God will do it." She didn't shout. She didn't argue. She just smiled, a tired, defeated smile. Now she fully understood what Chika survived in silence. Morning came. No miracle, no money, no container, no business breakthrough. Landlord returned with boys. They moved things out. Neighbors watched. Some sympathized, some mocked. Everything Chika once covered, everything she once protected, everything she once hid, stood naked. Odogun was not king. He was a liability with loud mouth. They were thrown out, bags outside, clothes scattered, house gone, package officially expired. The respect Ifeanyi once enjoyed, dead. The pride he walked with, finished. The fake image collapsed. He stood there quiet. For the first time in years, he had nothing to say. No English, no lies, no confidence, just shame. Amara stared at him. This was the moment truth fully entered her brain. She didn't steal blessing. She stole burden. She didn't beat Chika. She beat herself. And Chika, she wasn't disgraced. She wasn't destroyed. She wasn't crying. She was living peacefully far away, while the thieves of her peace were now suffering with each other. Karma didn't shout. It didn't rush. It simply delivered. Amara wanted to cry, but shame held her tears inside. She wanted to scream, but her mouth refused to move. Silence surrounded her. Silence, but a very loud one, because in that silence, one truth spoke clearly. She chased something she didn't understand. She envied a position she wasn't built for. She collected a package without checking content. Now she was living inside consequences. And Ifeanyi, the great Odogun, was standing beside her, completely powerless. His reign ended, his packaging expired, his fake glory buried. Reality had finally won. And it wasn't done yet, because when disgrace starts, it doesn't stop halfway. It finishes the work.